know if you guys saw this, but this is up there with Woodward and Bernstein's Watergate, Edward Snowden through WikiLeaks releasing everything about the NSA. No, now we have a new 3-letter agency, which we know has been radically spying on Americans, but not just Americans, on the former president of the United States while he was president, even coming out further. James O'Keefe, actually, I consider him kind of a friend, met him a few times, who has exposed CNN, has exposed the Washington Post, has exposed so many. I mean, what's one of the most recent ones that he had? He just had Pfizer as well that he exposed.
Yep.
Built up Project Veritas, all to just be ousted because he flew too close to the sun by exposing powerful people, has now exposed the CIA.
Ooh.
And it's radical the amount that they are doing. So take a look at, we're going to watch like the first 2 minutes ish of this video. This is a 30-minute video that you guys can watch. There's more and more coming out. We're going to start with just the 2 minutes of this one.
Wow.
There's no audio. You have to, it says it's muted, Fabian. The audio is muted on our end.
That's what happens when we don't have production. Cody.
Amjad Fasisi shows her his CIA identification badge.
No, where does it say?
Doesn't.
Hey, that's the point.
That's the point.
What's CMC?
China Mission Center, darling. China Mission Center.
Gotcha.
Amjad talks about how the CIA kept information from Trump.
Like working.
We kept information from him.
Say one more time.
We kept information from him.
From Trump?
Yes. He's an idiot. And there are certain people that would give him a high-level overview, but never give it to you. You know why? It's called leak those details.
Amjad Fasisi states higher-ups within the intel community, including CIA directors Mike Pompeo and Gina Haspel, and the upper levels of their staffs colluded to withhold information from sitting President Trump.
So the agencies kind of like all got together and said, we're not going to tell Trump.
The higher-ups.
The higher-ups.
You put it this way, the executive staff, we're talking about the director and his subordinates.
Like what titles are they? The
Director of the CIA.
director of the CIA would keep.
Yes.
Are you guys still watching him?
I would say yes.
It sounds like you guys are still watching him and his team.
Of course we are. Nothing goes by without somebody watching.
Amjad Fasisi also states as fact that Trump is under constant surveillance and even claims they are spying on his ex-wife.
And we also have people that monitor his ex-wife.
So you guys
All right, we can take a pause there. So here's the thing with this story that we're learning, and it goes more into the full half hour, but the biggest parts of it are to know that our CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency that is supposed to be the hub for the president to be able to understand pretty much everything that's going on in and outside the country as is necessary for him to be able to do his job, withheld information from the president, who is supposed to be the commander-in-chief, withheld information from him while he was president because the bureaucracies, decided that he couldn't be trusted. Along with that, they surveil him when he's acting as a private citizen and throughout his campaign while under direction of a new president. And yet you'll still have people, so much so that they're even still spying on his ex-wife. And they will claim that they're nonpartisan, or that Joe Biden has nothing to do with these indictments, or that there is no such thing as election interference, when in reality, our own bureaucracies are clarified to be doing this. Baby, what are your thoughts?
You know, this is something that we kind of all knew, but it's incredible to see how easy information is given to people just so that they can get laid. Because all these guys, including the gay ones that are giving all this information out, they're doing it over dinner with females or males just to try to impress them to get laid. This makes me think we have this massive high standard of CIA agents. Oh my gosh, because of all the books we've read and the movies we've seen, there's some secret undercover ninjas. This shatters all of that. Everything you've learned about the intelligence agency can be gotten so easy. Imagine what China has. Imagine what every other intelligence agency around the world has. If James O'Keefe can get this so easily, how secure are we really?
No, exactly, Fabian. And you make a lot of good points. First of all, I don't know if anybody's actually truly shocked. We've known this for a while, that essentially the administrative state is persecuting its opposition. And who's its current opposition? It's actually Donald Trump. And the thing that we saw in the clip there is that it wasn't just happening during his administration, but it's currently happening right now. That means that you have actively an opposing party that's in power right now using the leverage of the government to go after its political opposition. And we always talk about this, that Trump is being persecuted, conservatives are being persecuted, but it always sounds like buzzwords, right? And finally, here's some evidence about what we're talking about. Yeah, it's a conspiracy. I put my tinfoil hat on TV and everything like that. But what is this? Is this a conspiracy? It's a conspiracy against a political opponent. That's what it is.
Absolutely. And in fact, everybody wanted to know, since this is all about Trump, it really is, everybody wanted to know what Trump had to say about it. And I believe I have a video to be pulled up actually of Trump responding to this bombshell report. Do we have that clip?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that James O'Keefe, he was in Trump Tower with Trump, and Trump gave his opinion on this.
Oh,
wow. We're gonna watch it. Yeah, it's pretty this has happened today, I think, actually.
That's badass.
About how the CIA directors withheld information from you.
Well, it's shocking to see how stupid somebody can be. If this guy's for real, going to get rid of him. CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. This is not an intelligent guy to be openly talking, walk up and starts asking questions and talking that way. So he may be bragging or showing off to some young lady. I have no idea the conditions under which he spoke, but I'd get rid of him real fast. If he's for real, get rid of him.
My God. See, that's the craziest thing to me about this is that he finds out that his entire life has been scrutinized by the Central Intelligence Agency. I mean, I'm sure he already kind of knew it. I mean, I'm sure he already kind of knew it, but it becomes public info that is undeniable at this point. And his whole thing is instead of being like, wow, this is a really sad state of America, or anything, he's just like, this guy, he says he works for the intelligence agencies, but he's obviously not very intelligent. He's kind of an idiot. I was surprised he didn't just go like a retard. Some would say he's a retard. I'm surprised he didn't just pull that out, but that's what it was about. He ended up just lambasting the guy.
Typical Trump.
He must be just trying to flatter a woman. He's trying to get his willy wet, but who knows? He probably can't even get his willy wet. So
and exactly that. He doesn't seem surprised at all. I mean, think about how much he knows that he hasn't talked about, right? So I was under the assumption that maybe he was going to be a little more surprised, and he was just like, yeah, duh. This guy's an idiot. Get rid of him.
What else is new?
Yeah,
James, what else is new?
I feel like the reason Trump is not surprised, and we can literally see that in the video, he's making fun of this, like we're making fun of that right now, is because 8 years ago, the leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, told him on live TV on MSNBC that if you screw around with the intelligence community, they have a billion ways how they're going to go after you. And look, ever since 2016, ever since Trump became the president, I guess 2017, they've been going after him. Actually, I stand corrected. They've been going after him since he was president-elect, even before president-elect, right? The intelligence agencies were always hungry after President Trump, and that's why he's not surprised. That's why, honestly, we're not surprised on the panel here, where it's a bombshell news story that we have to share with you guys. But this, the main idea that the intelligence community is going after former President Trump, soon to be President Trump again, hopefully, is not new, fellas.
Yeah. This is something that, one could look at just 6 months ago when the CIA was basically, they were outed for doing a really, really bad things. And the next day, Congress voted to give, I believe it was a Pentagon or the CIA, but they voted to give one of the intelligence agencies a whole new building, billions of dollars, a few days after they were just caught doing something extremely, extremely bad. Why else would you do that as a congressperson unless you're scared of them? And I've heard, I forget who said this. He said that the Senate Intelligence Committee, whose job it is to oversee the intelligence agencies, they themselves are scared of the intelligence agencies if they vote against them too often, or if they say too.
That's
too
what.
many
Yeah,
things.
that's what Tucker was saying on Joe Rogan. And he said, yeah, they're all afraid, they're basically being held hostage by the three-letter agencies because they're worried they're going to put kitty porn or something on their devices and that's the minimum of what they'll do. They're afraid at the minimum that they'll get kitty porn on their computer. That means that there's worse things that could happen to them. It's insane. It's insane. Our elected officials are held hostage, and not to negate some of the blame among some of these people that vote for some of the most heinous things. But many of them are held hostage by our three-letter bureaucracies that are unelected. And so, and I've been talking about this for a long time. Like, your threat to democracy isn't Donald Trump. It's not Joe Biden. It's your FBI, your CIA, and your NSA. That's your threat to democracy, a constitutional republic, America as it was meant to be.
Yeah, whenever you have something like a dark budget or whatever they call a black budget where we don't know how much money they're getting and there's no oversight, no one knows what they're doing with it. That's the problem with the democracy, because that's not democratic whatsoever. They work for us. They don't, now they have the politicians who we elect work for them. It's completely obliterating the idea of the way the founders envision this whole thing working.
Mm-hmm.
Just to go back to what the video was all about, with them like withholding information from President Trump when he was the president, in a sense, isn't this illegal treason, borderline treason? I mean, how can you be an official, like it or not, the president of the United States is the executive. He's the head of state. So that means everybody beneath him, regardless of how much you may oppose him or disagree with him or believe that he's weak or whatever it is, you still have to report to him or her, if that'll ever happen. But it's crazy, guys. I mean, they're spying on him. They're disrespecting him. That's why, look, I believe the CIA, FBI may get grilled for this is actually a good concept, but I've said this in the past, the way it is right now, it's corrupted. You can't trust the bureaucrats that are in there because of things like we just saw right now. So hopefully when he wins in November, hopefully he doesn't tear down the FBI and the CIA, because again, I think those are good institutions, good ideas, but they need to be grounded with good individuals, good principles, values, all that good stuff.
Yeah, honestly, we'll have to look in. I mean, people will have to look into Mike Pompeo. I don't know if anything will ever come of it, but if Trump is reelected, then Mike Pompeo should absolutely be investigated at a minimum, likely indicted. So,
which is very unfortunate, because I'll be honest, Mike Pompeo is one of my favorite individuals in his administration or in his cabinet. You know, I think he did actually a fantastic job. Again, I may get grilled for that, but especially with his relations and how he handled both China and the Middle East, it's very unfortunate to see here. But
he's the one that ordered. He's the one that was caught saying that he wanted to kill, I think, Snowden or assassinate Snowden. Right, one of those two guys
potentially. I don't know that off the top of my head.
I think Tucker's talked a lot about that, about him doing exactly that, and I think he said, I think Tucker in one of his interviews, he's like, and I saw Mike Pompeo like not too long ago, and I'm like, he was trying to be friendly because, you know, the man himself is friendly when he's out and about, but he's like, that guy is really, really bad. So I believe, I don't want to mischaracterize what he said, but I think he said something like, I couldn't be nice to him. I couldn't be regular around him. Like, oh, hey, what's up? And I just, you know, if you're talking to Yasser Arafat or, you know, Saddam Hussein or something like that, and you see him at a party or something, yeah, you know, they just killed a bunch of people. So what are you going to be nice to them just because they're in your purview? No, hell no. Just like those fat bozos from the whatever podcast, you know, you see them at a party, you're not going to be nice just because you know who they are. No, the guys are idiots. They treat them like that.
I think who you're thinking about might have been the CIA director under Obama, either Clapper or Brennan, one of those. I can't remember exactly.
I'm pretty sure Pompeo.
Pompeo, I don't know.
We're gonna have to look into that. Yeah, exactly. Because that's very unfortunate to me. Again, when I saw that story, I saw it like the headline for it. It was like, and possibly Mike Pompeo. It was like Gina 100%, but Mike Pompeo is like still questionable. So that's very unfortunate to see if that's, you know, as is and whatnot. So.
Absolutely. But this was one of the, I think this is should be, the thing is because it's James O'Keefe, because it's him, because he's known as a more conservative individual, this will not get the credit that it deserves, because this reporting right here, he's had some great reports of other undercover journalists that have had to go through great lengths to get the information that they did. But what they uncovered in this is as big. It doesn't feel as big because we have all these social media platforms now that share information like that, but this is as big as Edward Snowden detailing what the NSA surveils on the American people, or Woodward and Bernstein revealing Watergate. Like this is a huge, huge story.
Huge. Absolutely. Just to go back, Business Insider, Mike Pompeo summoned by court to explain alleged U.S. government plot to assassinate Julian Assange, say Spanish media reports. So this is what Tucker was talking about. And they were spying on him in the embassy, and apparently the plan was to assassinate him.
The Uni Party is that's unfortunate.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. But speaking of things that Fabian knows, let's talk about, or I don't know if we're getting it to an hour. We're going to take a quick ad break, but we have.
Let's take a little. Yeah, guys, take a little break.
Got to drink freedom water.
Oh yeah.
And next up, we're going to talk about what I did last night. We're right back after this.
blah, 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 blah. What are you talking about? Here, have some freedom to up. Now, the Constitution is awesome. That's what it is.